Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very intriguing news to go and cover and talk about, mainly in regards to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. We've actually had some kind of good news as of recently, where a lot of the third-party prices, I think for eBay or Facebook, StockX, etc., have actually gone down. But as of recently, we've actually had a few folks ask me to go and cover this, because we actually have had a pretty prolonged, somewhat bounce back when it comes to these third-party scalping prices. Now, thankfully, they're not as high of all the Christmas and kind of like Black Friday, basically price points, but it definitely has had a little bit of a lull, and especially when it comes to not having as many restocks, especially these past few weeks, a little bit more on the chiller side, which thankfully I would probably say for all of you guys out there, it's always best to keep on waiting for retail to be fully done. But when it comes to all this stuff, we actually have had a little bit of a price bounce back. So I'm going to talk about this. I had a lot of people ask me about this, tweet me about this, etc., etc. So let's go and talk about it. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway on the channel itself will be ending very soon. We also do have the as well Samsung SSDs down below, and Samsung as well a $50 gift card for the brand new phone pre-orders too. Link down below. Twitter and Twitch stream on top of that if you guys want to follow up on either or and sign up for Weeble, sign up for that Coinbase. And let's go dive in the video itself. And as always, I love seeing all your thoughts and comments down below. So let's kind of give you guys the overall, I guess, market recap of what this is and what's kind of going on over here. So we actually had a pretty good solid past few weeks when it came to third-party stock prices. We had a pretty big high, probably one of the highest we've actually seen in a long time, around the nice Black Friday and around the pre-Christmas time, around this $800, $700 or so. And then as we've kind of noticed, and I'm sure a lot of you guys noticed too as well, pretty much the second that December was over and Christmas was all done, we had a pretty big broop, straight on down. And a lot of people were kind of saying oh, scalping's over, scalping's done. Thank God we can finally hopefully get our console soon. But of course, when it comes to all these third-party sellers and third-party buyers, there's always those last little folks that are still trying their best to go and kind of keep the markets alive. So as you guys can kind of go and see throughout these past few days, let me do a quick little zoom in for it. We actually have had, although thank God, not as high as we expected, a nice little bounce back when it comes to third-party prices, which we had the pretty baseline was $635, and it's slowly been ticking on up. These this around this week right here was a very dry period where basically it was pretty flat. But as you guys are probably noticing now that basically it's starting to get a little bit harder to get the console again. I will go and say probably in the near future we'll have a lot more big restocks, a lot more big retailers getting stock. And the only kind of big restock we've seen has been more so on the GameStop PlayStation 5 walk-in, which overall they're pretty good. I mean, this got nationwide. Everyone had a chance to get it, although it was bundles nonetheless. But we have had a little bit of a bounce back. Now, that's not a crazy bounce back too, but the one thing is, if you guys even see on this one, the lowest ask, which, so a little bit on the scary side, which is a nice little 666 right there. I said sick. 666 right there too as well. So while it may be kind of saying 650, it might be up a little bit higher. And now that we're slowly getting to the February prices, let me go move my camera so you guys can fully see everything. I might have been covering that up over here, but basically the prices are slowly having a nice little bounce back. Now, I would probably expect this, whenever something kind of goes straight down, look at stocks, look at crypto, look at all that stuff. Basically, whenever it goes that nice little straight on down, there's always a little bit of a bounce back. Now, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of the reassurance before we talk about the Xbox. I would probably say, if I had to guess, and maybe you guys can kind of give your expectations down below, I'd maybe say a nice 3 months, if that, when it comes to all the restocks and restock hype going around. Now, I do want to say we'll have probably these next 2 weeks. It might be a little bit harder, mainly because we do have Horizon. And if they're basically Horizon's looking phenomenal, I'm just going to say that. I've had a lot more folks as well also kind of have their bump up in their interest of trying to get their consoles because Horizon. But I do want to say probably after Horizon's done and maybe 2 or 3 more restocks after the fact, we actually might hopefully be on a very chill point, or it should be ideally a lot easier for all of us to go get our consoles when it comes to just, well, everything. So it's very cool to go and see that we are having a little bit of a bounce back in prices. And if you also do look at Facebook and eBay and a few other various locations, we have also seen their prices also go up a decent amount right afterwards, which is never the funnest thing to go and see. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. We're not the biggest fan. I don't like seeing the third-party prices going up because it also kind of incentivizes more scalpers to keep on buying, and it's just this lame. No one wants to deal with that. But the one big thing too is it does kind of stink because we're not sure when all the next major restocks are going to happen. Now, granted, I'm sure a lot of these big retailers definitely hoarded a lot of stock for Black Friday and Christmas, but now we're kind of after that period. So we're going to have to kind of see on how consistent all these restocks go. Because if there's anything like last year, January and February were a little bit more on the drier side. We still had good drops, still had good things to be on the lookout for, but it wasn't anything super crazy. So I just want to kind of give you guys a heads up on this one where it does kind of seem like the actual price is having a little bit of a bounce back. Although I do want to remind you guys, comparing this to like say $800 or $700 on these third-party prices, that's not bad. Selling for 650 bucks, I mean, that's pretty low, especially if you guys see how big all this trajectory has been throughout these past few years. So while it is kind of going back up, it's nothing we should super be that worried about. And it's all like hopefully it'll keep on stabilizing soon. Ideally, and the big thing is whenever the scalping will be done, well, probably whenever it goes and hits under that $600 mark. And now we were very close, and I kind of wish this would have edged down just a little bit more. But if those prices would have went down to like a nice like $590, I'm sure that would be just like a whoop, and there's like the death spiral where it just basically keeps on going down and down and down. But at least we do have the one bright side over here where we can basically go and see all this stuff is at least kind of chilling overall. So all around kind of cool to go and see that at least prices are chilling. Now the Xbox though is kind of not doing as good either way. If you guys go look at it right now, the highest bid right now for the sell is at 570. The lowest ask is at 600 too as well. So now I will go and say the Xbox Series X, and I think you guys would probably agree, is pretty much on the tail end of the scalping side. When it hit the kind of same low point of $575, I always had to keep on moving my webcam for you guys to show you guys a little bit better. But basically when it hits the $575 mark, that's pretty much donezo. Because if you go and think about it, the prices at that are like around 550 bucks or so, give or take. Like you're making 20 bucks if that. Then you also deal with like driving to the grocery, not the grocery, the like, you know, UPS or FedEx to go and ship it. At that point, it's not worth it. Like no one wants to spend that extra money on it. But we have also seen a little bit of a same kind of like little baby bounce back, although it's not as big as this. And I do want to say the Xbox will probably be more on the demand side. PlayStation 5, I've still seen those things pretty much selling out almost instantly. We've been seeing a lot of really good sales for them. We've been seeing people, even for bundles, buying them pretty on point. So just letting you guys know, we're still watching it. Like that's still a pretty big deal where people are basically trying to get their consoles off from that. But the one struggle is the Xbox is we do keep on seeing places like say Target that has consistent Xbox Series X's available in stores. Now it's not all the time, but we keep on seeing them have a very active restock going on. And same thing too as well with the big retailers. We are seeing their Xbox bundles staying in long time, staying in stock for a pretty long time. So it does kind of seem like the Xbox is pretty much on the donezo side. Although it does have a little baby bounce back. We do see a little bit of a bounce back. Even then you can even see from January 24th to January 28th, and even kind of a little bit right now, the price is pretty much around the same exact price point. So it does almost seem there's maybe like a little baby gusto left of the Xbox Series X for resellers and like scalpers and stuff. But at least the PlayStation 5, I would say there's still a decent amount. Like even for this one, when it's like looking at some of the lower price points, like around here, this is pretty much donezo. And I would kind of agree back in the day, that's pretty much where everyone was kind of chilling on this side. And it's pretty much where we're at right now. Of course, with the holidays, it had a nice little bounce back. And one thing I'm kind of surprised on is after the big Activision news, it kind of seemed like the Xbox had a really big spike up, maybe like a big like fear of missing out for at least a little amount of time. But then right afterwards, it kind of seemed like it was just like, it was 2 days later, whatever. That's like 2 years from now. We have a lot of time to go get our consoles. We can go from there. And I think the one last little thing we probably want to touch on still is that Halo Infinite Xbox, which in all honesty, if we even were seeing a lot more restocks of it, would probably still be very heavily scalped. And I do know the third-party price for that console is essentially just really high, and rightfully so because so many people want to go get it. And I mean, I'm still in that same boat, and I think it was and or is kind of slowly going down. We did go and see some restocks though for Canada too as well when we were seeing that. So just letting you guys all know, that does seem like there's a little bit of, I guess, awareness floating around for it. But just letting you guys know, it is kind of intriguing to go and see that these third-party prices are slowly going back on up. And once again, this video is not meant to make you guys worried or scared or think it's gonna be even harder to go get our consoles in the near future, but I will probably go and say that at least for the next maybe like 2 or 3 months, we'll still be seeing a little bit of back and forth when it comes to these third-party prices, you know, from StockX, eBay, or Facebook, or whatever. And maybe still some of these restocks still botted, because I mean, some companies actually can still be rebotted. And then the last part still is we still are seeing a lot of these other international restocks happening too as well. So at the end of the day, it is kind of intriguing to go and know that we are seeing stock and seeing stock movements, etc., etc. But the one kind of big thing for that is, I don't think you guys should be worrying. I think everyone's going to keep on stabilizing more and more as time goes on, as we keep on even seeing for the PS5. And sometime in the near future, I hopefully won't have to mutter the word scalper, because good Lord, I have had talked about them and kind of complained about them so much. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below. And as well, keep on sticking out for retail. You guys will get it ASAP, and I will make sure that as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 digital console controller. Samsung SSDs on sale, highly recommend. Same thing too as well with the Samsung phones too as well, also highly recommend. Twitter and Twitching down below, and sign up for that Weeble and Coinbase. And I'll see you guys later on throughout today for a bunch more videos. Love you guys.